Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some big time news for the Michigan Wolverines fans on the 2024 high school recruiting trail as Owen Wafle, four-star defensive lineman from the state of New Jersey, is the first official visitor this weekend that commits to Michigan. We're going to talk a little bit about what Owen Wafle is going to bring to this defense, but more importantly, we're going to talk about what this 2024 class could look like and who was on campus this weekend, who's going to be on campus next weekend, because we've said this a lot. This 2024 class really does appear to be something special for Michigan. Now, before we get into it again, just want to say thank you to you guys. Y'all know that I'm a Michigan guy. There's not many things in this world that I enjoy talking about more than Michigan Wolverines football. So if you guys have been rocking it with us, can't thank you guys enough. And if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, because I think Michigan is not nearly done in this 2024 class. We're going to have a lot more updates coming your guys' way. So again, if you do enjoy the updates, lock in, subscribe to the channel. You guys just can't say enough how much we appreciate all the support. Let's get into Owen Wafle first. And the first thing I want to say is, like, probably a little bit of an under-recruited kid. 6'2", not the biggest frame, but when you look at the film and what he does on the football field, kind of represents what Michigan's been about, especially the last couple years on the trenches, right? He's 6'2". Okay, maybe you can't add as much size. He's probably never going to be 330 pounds like Mozzie Smith, but he's a guy that plays with low pad level, takes on blocks really well, and is very athletic for his size. I mean, he also played a little fullback. I first thought Chris Jenkins, and then I thought maybe Ben Mason, right? Ben Mason was a fullback, then switched on to the defensive line. This is a guy that loves the weight room. He plays with a low pad level, eats up blocks, and he probably not a guy that's going to light it up on the stat sheet. But we were just talking about Jalen Harrell the other day. Like, there are guys on this Michigan defense that are kind of the unsung heroes. Owen Wafle, to me, seems like a guy that is going to be one of those unsung heroes that he's probably never going to get the credit that he deserves. But man, is he a damn good player for Michigan. And hey, it never hurts when you're able to flip a commitment from Notre Dame. This kid was committed to Notre Dame for a while, opens up his commitment. Michigan swoops in, lands the commitment to add to a very good 2024 class. Now, I want to pivot a little bit and talk about the talent that we had on campus this weekend, right? Headlined by, if you guys follow Michigan recruiting, you know Justin Scott was on campus. You know Ryan Wingo was on campus. 2 5-star guys. Justin Scott, I feel like we have an outside chance. And if you read and kind of are into it, you see that Miami, Georgia, Notre Dame, kind of the 3 leaders in that recruitment. But man, from Chicago, it seems like Michigan could be a guy that, or could be a program that really can kind of infiltrate Justin Scott. Ryan Wingo, another guy that, yeah, probably not on the inside track to get Ryan Wingo, but when you get these guys to official visit weekends, like, they get that visit fever. And them just scheduling the official visit and making it up to Ann Arbor says a lot about their interest in Michigan. And hey, if this Michigan offense in 2023 is as explosive as I think it might be and will be, I could start seeing some wide receivers like Ryan Wingo, those elite caliber guys, start looking at Michigan as a place where they could really make it work, right? It's been hard, tough sledding for Michigan to recruit those wide receivers, as that offense has kind of just struggled to be explosive through the air. I think that's why you see a lot of Ohio State, a lot of Tennessee, a lot of Alabama in terms of landing these top wide receivers. Man, if Michigan kind of put it together in 2023, I really do think that some of these elite playmakers on the offensive side of the ball will start considering Michigan. And it never hurts when you have Jaden Davis already locked into that 2024 class. The guys I want to talk about the most, Bryce West, because if there's a position that you're a little bit concerned about, right? What, Michigan, this is their 18th commit. You feel really good about the offensive line. You feel good about the defensive line. If there's a position maybe you're a little bit concerned about, it is that cornerback spot. Bryce West, the top 5 cornerback in the country, top 50 national prospect, trending to Ohio State. But man, getting him on campus, he's from Cleveland, Ohio. Michigan's done a phenomenal job recruiting the state of Ohio. I know he's boys with Jordan Marshall. That could be a nice, that one would be a big time win in terms of, you talk about winning recruiting battles with Ohio State in the state of Ohio. A couple other guys I want to note. Bennett Warren trending heavily to Michigan, probably would be our last offensive lineman that we take in this class. And different. I mean, you can't really teach the 6'8", 330-pound frame for Bennett Warren. And you look at what he's talked about on his visit, talked very glowingly about Sharon Moore. Now, that checks out. I mean, Sharon Moore has absolutely crushed it, not only developing these guys, but getting talent into this offense. And if you're an elite offensive lineman, I mean, it's a pretty easy sales pitch for a guy like Bennett Warren to come and want to play for this Michigan offensive line group, because they're putting out guys into the NFL, back-to-back Joe Moore Award winners. That's a very interesting one to watch, and probably the last offensive lineman we take in that 2024 class. And that offensive line group is absolutely loaded. A couple other guys I kind of want to talk about. Boo Carter. If y'all aren't familiar with Boo Carter, like, go check out just his 7-on-7 highlights. He's an athlete, probably would play like that nickelback, kind of what Mikey Sandstro plays. That's where I think he'd be the best. I think that's where Michigan's recruiting him. Would be an elite slot receiver. How he's at 190 pounds, could even be a running back. I mean, this dude, in terms of movement skills, is special. If I'm Michigan's coaching staff and saying, Boo Carter, where do you want to play? If you want to, whatever position you want to play, we'll let you play at Michigan. That's how talented I think a guy like Boo Carter is. And then to round it out, you obviously have Owen Wafle, who committed. You have Manuel Beagle. The other two guys that are really trending heavily to Michigan, Micah Capana, and that's kind of bittersweet for Michigan. Like, if you go check him out, there's a lot to like. And if there's anybody I trust about recruiting the running back spot, it is Mike Hart. That probably does mean the end of the Taylor Tatum hype train, the number one running back in the class, according to 24/7 Sports Composite. It does seem like he's trending to USC. So Micah Capana would be, I think I'm saying that name right, would be a nice pivot from maybe missing out on Taylor Tatum. And then David Pelapele, cousins with Noah and Penei Sewell, a guy that, again, kind of talking about Bennett Warren, like, you can't really teach that size that he's coming in with. It's a loaded group that Michigan had. And from what I've heard and from the buzz that you've seen on Twitter, you don't know exactly who it is that we're trending for. It's very exciting if you're a Michigan fan, in terms of the amount of talent they had on campus and all the hype that you saw on Twitter. And then I want to just take a sneak peek to next week, because that is probably the biggest week, where you have all your commits. Aaron Scott's a nice one that we're battling out Michigan for. A couple other guys I want to note: Darian Mayo, 6'7" edge rusher, and then Aaron Childs, a top 100 linebacker. Those are kind of the guys that I think really would be huge if Michigan can kind of close it out with. But man, so much traction for Michigan on the 2024 trail. A ton of talent that will be on campus, not only this weekend, next weekend, and then in the end of June. If Michigan can put together another Big Ten championship season, potentially another national championship caliber season, I really do think that Michigan could finish with the top 3 class here. It is extremely exciting. I've been all over Twitter and Instagram this whole weekend tracking these guys. It seemed like they have a great time again. Wanted to hop on, talk a little bit about Owen Wafle's commitment, and then talk about, man, this 2024 class continues to potentially be very, very special. Appreciate the support you guys have shown as usual. And if you do enjoy the updates, you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.